Hey, what's up? This is your reading for whenever you see this. Normally I shuffle a little bit on camera, but I shuffled mostly off camera. And it took me a while, and it also, I don't know, I was really confused to be honest. So I just didn't want to waste time recording while I'm just like looking at this like um it feels like there's two separate things going on. So I started with the tarot and then did theme cards after. So for the themes, we have, let me show, Theta Wave Oracle, and we have Patience at the bottom of the deck with Love, Listen, Dream and Reverse. And then from this deck, we have Sad Embrace and Movement in Reverse. That one seems pretty self-explanatory. Okay, let me just start with that first. This feels like the first part of the story. You would be deciding where you are in this plot line, but what was interesting that I want to mention while I was shuffling tarot is like a bunch of cards came out at once, and I was trying to figure out if I wanted to keep them or not, but I remember it being Three of Swords, Three of Swords upright, and then it was Three of Swords upright. I know the Lovers came out, and then I can't remember the other card. But this, looking at this, makes me think of Three of Swords, which originally came out, and then the Patience card in reverse and Listen. The first thing that came to my mind was that time was running out because of the clock here. Like, it's easy to say there's like this impatience thing, but with Listen behind it, it feels like there's a call towards making a decision around love. And more specifically, it looks like letting something go, or the more I'm talking about it, the more it's starting to make sense. It feels like someone is pressed about ending something with someone. And maybe with this Sad Embrace, you're mourning it before you've actually done something, because we have movement here in reverse at the bottom of the deck. But there's two numbers here that connect to like the ending of something. So with the time, the clock being in reverse, and then these two cards, we have the number 9 and the number 10. I only bring up that because maybe I'm over explaining here, but to make it make sense for you, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, is the number 9 and the number 10 are symbolic in tarot, being like the end of something. Usually in tarot, 9 is like the end of a suit, or you're moving towards the end of a suit. I'm now showing you some of the tarot cards that came out. And then we have 10, which is the last number of a suit. And usually in each suit that represents a culmination of things, or like the destination of something, or the ending of something. So that's how I got to this conclusion. I don't know if I might be over explaining, but maybe for some of you that might be helpful to understand like how I'm getting to these conclusions. So it's just yeah. But back to what I was saying, there's sad embrace, which talks about letting something go as well, and grief. And the thing that's of emphasis here is the shattered heart, and there's like a small heart behind, but the shattered heart is the main focus in this imagery too, which makes this, gives this feeling that that's what's being felt at the time. And then also I did draw the Three of Swords came out as I was shuffling earlier, but I was hesitant to keep it because there were so many cards that I was like, I'm not really sure. The other card that I mentioned that popped out too was the Lovers. I really wish I could remember that other card. So frustrating. But the Lovers can represent making a choice about something. The other thing too, with Dream in reverse, the Lovers card can be like an idealized version of a partnership, and then with the Dream in reverse, that also makes me feel like there's like sort of the rose colored glasses have faded, and now there's just, it's like this reality check of the situation that you're in. So maybe there's something sad that you're grieving about, like the potential of something or someone that you realize just is never going to come to pass. And so it's almost like you know what to do, you know what choice to make, but you haven't made it yet. But it feels as though you're approaching the point of not no return, but more of a dead end. You're like, okay, I can't avoid making this decision. I can't avoid this conversation anymore. I know what I need to do now. There's no more time. And then, of course, the Listen card, whenever I see that come up, it's like this voice is coming in and it's telling you, like, there's no more time to waste here. Like, it's time to get this over with, pull the plug, whatever it is. But there's a grief here that's either premature is the word that came up, but that's not the right word. Feels like a grief that's happening before the conversation happens. It also is like, it almost feels like I'm getting the image of someone rehearsing what they're going to say or what they're going to do in their head, which is also what's making them sad. But again, maybe too, I don't know why that came up. Maybe too, there's like a state of being frozen in making the decision because of how the person will react. Maybe there's a lot of gray area too. There could be a feeling of stagnancy. Like, it's not that the situation is more obviously harmful, but maybe there's just this feeling of it's time to look out. Okay, that's so funny. Now that that's so funny. I'm saying that now and I'm remembering what the other card is. It was the Three of Wands. I feel like just saying this isn't helpful. Like, you need to see what I'm talking about. Okay, so Lovers looks like this. My gosh. Lovers looks like that. I feel like everybody knows what the Three of Swords looks like. I feel like that's like a very popular card that people see. It wasn't the Three of Wands. It was a Two of Wands. Two of Wands. I think that might have been at the bottom of the deck or something like that. And then it's so funny, I'm going back to pull out these cards. And then we have, where are you? Where are you? Where'd you go? What the heck? is this taking so long? Okay, Five of Pentacles also came out too. Okay, Three of Swords. That took so long. I'm so sorry. And I'm not about to edit this either, so you're just going to sit through this with me. Three of Swords. I don't remember what order. We're not even going to do all that. Two of Wands. Lovers. Five of Pentacles came out. Also, I think it might have been in reverse, but that also feels like there's not much sustenance in this offer, in this partnership, and there's this desire to look out, or maybe you've been exposed to what other things are out there. And so when I reshuffled here, we got the Sun, Eight of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. I mean, oh my, what? Ten of Swords. What am I taught? That's weird. That's not, sorry. And Hierophant. And then we have the Nine of Cups and the Seven of Cups. So this feels like options opening up. There's also a change in perspective too, or releasing this gives you this renewed sense of emotional fulfillment. There is clearly, imagery of walking away from something. Something about number 8 feels cyclical or karmic, so there might be some feeling of walking away from something that you're used to doing, and maybe that's why it feels so hard. There could be a comfort in the thing that you're holding on to, but you can't keep doing this anymore. It could be a habit even, you're like I don't know. Like a slight example came up, but it really wasn't a good one. Then we have Ten of Swords and the Hierophant and the Sun. So again, there's like this renewal of opportunity, of vitality even, because I feel like in the first part of the reading, there's a drain on your energy from not making a decision that you need to make. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of grief, which you may have already felt and moved through before you decided you were ready to have that conversation. And now that's what was weird about this. It was like there was part 1 and then there was part 2, and maybe there are people who fall in one camp, or they know in their mind once they do this there's going to be like a weight lifted off of their shoulders. The other thing too with this, it feels like there's something that was like it had a more than a foundation. Like the relationship or this thing doesn't feel necessarily new. So it almost has this feeling of like I'm walking away from not a big investment, but something that I put a good bit of energy into. So there's like I almost wanted to say there's like a need, if you've done it, to give yourself props for doing something like that. Or if you haven't, to recognize that that's kind of something that could be giving weight to this I was going to say decision, and then I thought procrastination. So that's why that word came out kind of weird. But I mean both. The decision and the procrastination of the decision could be because of the recognition of like there's a lot of emotions tied to this. This isn't something new necessarily. And again, like I said earlier, it could have been a lot of emotional investment into the potential of something, something along those lines. Also here, Ten of Swords, it's a lot of anxiety, a lot of mental anguish, a lot of stress, a lot of rumination. That also is released after you move through listening to your intuition about something. And it also feels like here this card in reverse, it's like there's what you should do decision, and you're kind of choosing for yourself here. So that also could give some weight to this decision, as well as like it feels like there's something about this choice that is maybe the rebellious choice or the non-traditional choice, something that maybe not everybody would have decided to do, which could also be where the stress is coming from. But that this decision, I feel like you're making this decision based off of like your own happiness. Something around the inner child is coming up too, of like what would genuinely bring you joy and what would make you happy. And choosing for yourself could feel maybe even childish in your mind, or you might worry that people might think that you're making a choice that may come off childish or selfish. Maybe I feel like there's some connection with like being selfish is childish, or some kind of connotation with that somebody is making, or maybe you're making. And so there's some soft guilt in that idea. I don't know where it's coming from, but I could see where like there could be a guilt in doing that. But there's like a need to just embrace this. It just feels like this is like the anchor of the second part, is the choice being made is made from authenticity, and there's something about this selfish act that is genuine and also innocent at the same time. Like it's pure. This decision to be selfish is like a pure decision. It feels, the better way of wording it is like you're choosing yourself here in whatever the scenario is. It's important to choose yourself, to walk away from the thing that is spoiled now, to walk away from the thing that is causing a lot of mental stress, the thing that maybe you were taught to do, or like the thing that feels like the right choice for everybody else but isn't the choice for you. I hope that makes sense. I feel like yeah. But again, there's like an emphasis on like there's more options on this path. There's more choices on this journey, on this part of the journey. Like the beginning of this felt like there was stuckness or movement, or you didn't really see all that you could do. I feel like I'm talking too much. I don't know why. I don't know. It's like something. I'm gonna shut up. We're just gonna go to the last card. I think you get it. Maybe that's why I feel that way. I'm like, I feel like you get what I'm saying. I don't know. If you have any questions about what I'm saying, you can ask, but in the end, I feel like you're going to be satisfied and relieved with your decision. Those will be the signs of a right decision. But if you follow your gut, there's something that's been gnawing at you for a while, and that seems to be the consistent theme in the last few readings, is like listening to yourself, to your body, to your mind, even what's coming up in certain situations around certain people. Does this scenario create more anxiety or anguish? That's worth listening to too. Like, dang, every time I hang out with this person, it is just not a vibe, and I don't know what it is. You don't have to know specifically what it is, but it could just be like, I'm gonna step away from this for a period of time and see how I feel away from this. And then listen to that too. Time's up for something though. Okay, I want an ending affirmation. What do we, okay. I welcome clear vision and inspired action. Again, like this is like an insight. Sorry about the blinds. And then my inner compass knows the way, but it's in reverse. Again, it's like I forgive and let go with loving ease. So letting go of something. Sorry. Okay, this person is naked. So oh shoot, there's a nipple. Okay, there's a butt now. There's a level of vulnerability, but this freeness in this picture of letting, oh my gosh, of letting something go. There's growth, there's expansion here of letting this thing go. I don't know, I feel like this, I'm just going to show you these cards. I don't like telling people what to do in readings. Like, I want this to be an autonomous, like, experience and adventure. I don't know if that makes sense. This is, I'm just like, and you tell me what comes up for you. Like, what are you thinking about? What does this remind you of? What does this look like? What do you feel? Like, and I think I feel like I should be talking less because there's a need to listen more. Not to me necessarily, but like maybe I'm saying something and you're like, oh, this reminds me of something, or whoa, okay, now I'm thinking of these things. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Like what's going on? What does this make you think of? These words. Listen, like what's going on? Okay, gosh, I know people tape over these like nude pictures, but I'm not really gonna do all that. I'm sure it's fine. Listening in, letting go, intuition, walking away from one thing to open up new horizons for other things that you want to do. There's a little bit of rebellion here. It seems to be positive though. It's like you deciding to do something for yourself, and it may not be the popular choice, the mainstream choice. But you're here to be you and to do you and to experience that. Even if that means you're walking into even if that means you're walking into the wrong thing or making a mistake, like, your lessons are your lessons, and so making your own choices leads you to your own lessons and makes you more yourself and cultivates the prowess, the thing you're supposed to, the assignment you're supposed to tackle, to build, that you're here for. You're not here for other people's lessons, so stop making choices for other people because you're not going to learn what you're here to learn. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Let me know. And have a good day.